My grandfather is 97 years old. He still has rosy skin, walks with ease, stays mentally sharp, and is always full of energy. Whenever people meet him, they often ask, "What's his secret to staying so healthy at this age?" The truth is, no single food determines your health or longevity. But for decades, there has been one habit he has never given up: drinking homemade black sesame milk. Black sesame seeds are rich in healthy fats, fiber, calcium, magnesium, and natural antioxidants. He has always prepared them in the simplest way, turning them into a rich, creamy, silky smooth drink that's both delicious and easy to enjoy. Today, I'm going to share this family recipe with you. Let's get started. First, prepare 200 grams, 7 ounces, of black sesame seeds. Pour the sesame seeds into a large bowl and add plenty of water. Gently stir them with your hand for a few seconds. This is a step many people skip, but it has a big impact on the quality of the finished milk. During harvesting, transportation, and packaging, sesame seeds can contain fine sand, dust, or tiny impurities. If they aren't cleaned thoroughly, the milk may lose some of its aroma and even have a slightly gritty texture. Rinse the sesame seeds 2 to 3 more times until the water is almost completely clear. It's nice to know that we see each other all over the world. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you can subscribe by clicking the subscribe button. It's great to see your support. Finally, drain them well before roasting. The drier the sesame seeds are, the faster and more evenly they will roast. Place the sesame seeds into a cold, dry pan, then turn the heat to high. At this stage, the goal isn't to roast them immediately. Instead, we're simply allowing the moisture remaining on the surface of the seeds to evaporate. You'll hear a gentle sizzling sound and see steam rising from the pan. Soon, the sesame seeds will change from damp to completely dry, and they'll begin to separate more easily. At this point, reduce the heat to low, then add 1 tablespoon of white sesame seeds. The white sesame seeds act as a very helpful visual indicator. Since black sesame seeds are so dark, it's difficult to tell when they're perfectly roasted. Many people roast both kinds together from the beginning. However, white sesame seeds have thinner hulls and cook faster than black sesame seeds. Adding them later allows both types to finish roasting at exactly the same time, preventing the white sesame from burning while the black sesame is still developing its aroma. Continue roasting over low heat for about 15 minutes, stirring constantly so the heat is distributed evenly. Don't be tempted to turn up the heat to speed things up. High heat can burn the outside of the seeds before the inside is fully roasted, giving the milk a bitter, burnt flavor. When the white sesame seeds turn a light golden color, the entire pan becomes wonderfully fragrant, and you hear the sesame seeds gently popping. That's the perfect time to turn off the heat. At this point, the sesame seeds are perfectly roasted, and their natural oils have just been released, making the finished milk much richer and more aromatic. Immediately spread the roasted sesame seeds out onto a tray or large plate in a thin, even layer. This helps them cool quickly, prevents residual heat from over-roasting them, and preserves their wonderful roasted aroma. Once the sesame seeds have cooled completely, transfer them to a blender along with 1 liter, 4 1/4 cups of water. Where are you watching from? Please leave a comment to let me know. If you're using a regular household blender, blend for about 30 seconds, then let the motor rest for a few seconds before blending again. This not only protects the blender from overheating, but also allows the blades to grind the sesame seeds more efficiently into a very fine paste. Continue blending until you can no longer see any large pieces of sesame. The mixture should now be deep black, slightly creamy, and wonderfully fragrant. Now it's time to strain the sesame milk. Pour the blended mixture through a fine mesh strainer. The milk will slowly flow through, while the sesame pulp remains on top. If the liquid drains too slowly, don't press down hard right away. Instead, use a spoon to gently spread and press the sesame pulp across the surface of the strainer to help the milk drain through more quickly. This helps keep the mesh openings clear, so the milk flows through more quickly while maintaining a smooth texture. Once most of the liquid has drained through, don't discard the sesame pulp just yet. It still contains plenty of nutrients and rich natural sesame flavor. Transfer all of the pulp to a clean bowl. Next, pour 1 liter, 4 1/4 cups, of water into the blender jar to rinse away any sesame still clinging to the sides and blades. This simple step helps recover a surprising amount of flavor and nutrition that would otherwise go to waste. Pour the rinsing water over the sesame pulp. Stir everything thoroughly so the remaining healthy fats, protein, and rich sesame flavor are released into the water. Finally, strain the mixture through the fine mesh strainer one more time to collect the second batch of sesame milk. This second extraction may seem like a small step, but it helps recover nearly all of the nutrients from the sesame seeds, resulting in a finished milk that's richer, creamier, more flavorful, and without wasting any of your ingredients. You've now made about 2 liters, 8½ cups, of pure black sesame milk, deep black in color, silky smooth, and filled with the rich, natural aroma of roasted sesame. Now it's time for the most important step, cooking the milk. Throughout the cooking process, stir continuously. This is a very important step because black sesame milk contains a high amount of natural oils and extremely fine sesame particles. If the milk sits without stirring for too long, the sesame solids will gradually settle to the bottom of the pot, where they can easily stick, burn, and give the entire batch an unpleasant burnt flavor. Cook over low to medium heat for about 15 to 20 minutes. As the milk heats, you'll notice tiny bubbles forming around the edges, a thin layer of foam appearing on the surface, and the wonderful aroma of roasted sesame filling your kitchen. This is also when all the flavors begin to blend together, giving the milk a richer, more rounded taste. Next, add 1/8 teaspoon of salt and stir well. Don't skip this small ingredient. The salt won't make the milk taste salty. Instead, it enhances the natural nuttiness of the sesame, balances the sweetness, and brings out even more of its rich roasted aroma. Now pour in 220 milliliters, about 1 cup, of unsweetened whole milk. The milk gives the drink a smoother, creamier texture while adding a gentle richness without overpowering the distinctive flavor of the roasted sesame. Continue stirring gently and cook for another 1 to 2 minutes over low heat. There's no need to cook it any longer because the milk has already been pasteurized. It simply needs to be heated through, so it blends perfectly with the sesame milk. Once the milk is evenly heated, turn off the heat. If you prefer a sweetened drink, stir in 45 to 60 milliliters, 3 to 4 tablespoons, of pure maple syrup. This is a small trick that makes a surprisingly big difference. If you add the maple syrup at the beginning and cook it for too long, much of its delicate aroma will fade. Adding it after turning off the heat helps preserve its naturally rich flavor, and it also allows you to taste the milk and adjust the sweetness to suit your family's preference. Stir until the maple syrup has completely dissolved. At this point, you'll notice the milk has a beautiful glossy black color with a smooth, silky surface. The rich aroma of roasted sesame blends beautifully with the delicate sweetness and distinctive fragrance of pure maple syrup, creating an incredibly inviting drink. Allow the milk to cool slightly, then pour it into clean glass bottles or food-safe plastic bottles with tight-fitting lids. The finished sesame milk is smooth and creamy with no gritty texture. It has the rich, nutty flavor of black sesame, a light creaminess from the milk, and the gentle natural sweetness of pure maple syrup. Every sip is rich, fragrant, and satisfying without feeling overly sweet or heavy. You can enjoy it while it's still warm to fully appreciate the aroma of the freshly roasted sesame, or chill it in the refrigerator for a few hours. Served cold, the flavor becomes even richer and more refreshing. Stored in the refrigerator, the milk is best enjoyed within 3 to 4 days. Because this is a natural homemade plant-based milk, A small amount of sesame sediment may settle at the bottom of the bottle over time. Simply give it a gentle shake before drinking, and it will become smooth again. This is the drink my grandfather has included in his diet for decades. The rest of my family enjoys it regularly as well. Of course, no single food can determine your health or longevity. However, as part of a balanced diet, black sesame is an excellent source of healthy fats, fiber, calcium, magnesium, and natural antioxidants, making it a wonderful food to include in your everyday meals. I hope you'll enjoy this recipe and give it a try for your family. The video ends here. If you have any comments, please leave a comment below. If you find the video interesting, please give me a like. Don't forget to share it with your relatives and friends. Remember to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for your support. Goodbye. See you in the next video.